it's hard.
Well, what I would say to that is, it is very hard for women, but the first thing is what we tell ourselves. You know, I've been divorced a couple times, but I'll never forget I had 2 daughters. And I had a girlfriend that had 1 child. And they would say, oh, it's so hard. She said, yes, I'm a single parent. Her life was hard. People would say to me, people put their burdens on you. I know it's so hard. You have 2 children and you're divorced. I said, no, it's not hard at all. See, people try to put you in a place so they feel they're okay. And I said, no, I have 2 children. They're doing fine. I do this, and that. And I was always very progressive. We lived very well. And they would look at me. Now, that was a grieving time when I went through the divorce. But most recently, when I tell you at 68, 67, I met the man of my dreams. This was like the most amazing individual. I mean, I can't even describe it. And shortly after we met, and then we decided we were going to get engaged and we were going to get married, he found out he had 3rd stage colorectal cancer. And we spent the entire time going between MD Anderson, Sloan Kettering. When I tell you he was never sick, he never got sick a day. And this man was just amazing. And he was just an inspiration. And he was just a ball of fire. And they thought they had the cancer. And they did get it, 16-hour surgery. But 4 months later, it came back. And what they found out is he had a mutated gene. It is just like COVID. So what that means, this gene mutates. And every time you kill it, it reinvents itself and becomes a different strain than anything else you used before. Well, they were trying to work with that, but this August 20th, they told my husband that he had 1 year to live. And my husband died in 21 days. And when I tell you to have someone, I actually did his eulogy because I felt nobody could do it like I could do it. And I told those stories about him. But how did I make it through? God. And I had to believe in my better self. You see what I'm saying? I had to go on. There were times I didn't feel like getting out the bed. I love working out. I got up and I made myself. It's the same thing and the same, inspiration you have to have when you're a businesswoman and you have a business and everything you're doing is right and everything turning back is wrong. Or you do everything and you don't, where's the money? Do you understand what I'm saying? And you're believing in yourself. So what I had to realize, it's me. If it's going to be, it is up to me. Because I've known people, I'm sure you do too. Everything they do is a pity party. I don't like the damsel in distress. I tell people, we left that in the book. Women are taught that. I'm serious. There are some women, they are taught that. Always be the damsel in distress, because if you're the strong woman, you're not a woman. It's okay to hurt, but it's not okay to wallow in it. And it is not okay to consume everyone around you in it. Do you see what I'm saying? And then people, they just will play on this. What I had to do, I decided for me that I had a purpose and I had to think about everything he and I shared. And I had to think about the talks and how he believed in me and what he would want from me. But most of all, what I want for myself. I want to always be a better of myself. I don't question God. Why would God let me meet somebody and in 24 months take him away? Somewhere there is something for me to be my better self. And I figured it out. When I went through a very bad divorce, I started writing modules called New Beginnings by Design, teaching people and women how to redesign your lives the way I rebuild your house. I have one chapter called, Are You Foreclosed On? And it talks about how you grow up and you were born with equity. And how, as you go through life, you start giving people a little piece of the deed of your destiny, buying in. And one day you have no equity within you and you are foreclosed on. And I teach you how to take those nails and how to become who you're supposed to be. So when you have grief, you have to go back and remember what you were supposed to be. And to thyself, you must be true. You can't let others tell you how long to grieve. You can't let others tell you the way you should grieve. And the way you do that, stop telling everybody everything. Because they're not you. What's right for you is yours. And I need to celebrate you. All I need to know is there anything I can do for you? And as a woman, if someone asks you that, don't be too prideful to say yes. I just need you to sit here. So when you grieve over anything, a child, a husband, when I wrote these modules, I kept saying, why haven't I brought these out? And it actually says at the end of the first page, this is for people, because I was in and out of a lot of ball players' homes, trust me. And you go in there, I want the room blue. No, I want the wall taken down. It was a mess. But one day I started realizing it wasn't that house. It was this house that had unrest. If you don't have rest here, none of this means anything. Mm-hmm. So I started then realizing that a lot of things people do is because the interior home is no good. So I talk about these modules are for people and women who are displaced due to death, divorce, age, or destructive things that have happened in their life, whether it is financial, emotional, or mental. Those are the things that will rule a woman out. Oh, she's crazy. I wish people would stop giving crazy credit, because women are women. We're not crazy. If we don't feel something, we don't. I couldn't understand why I didn't bring it out. After my husband died, you know what God showed me? I can't teach a woman about death and grieving if I hadn't experienced it myself. So now there's not one thing in those modules that I have not only lived through, but pulled through. And I did make it to the other side. And a lot of women, there's so many women who are broken. There are so many women that go every day and they're smiling and they're crying inside. There are so many women that are ashamed. And that is why I know my purpose. It's more of a general contractor of rebuilding women, their lives, letting them be placed on solid ground. We talk about below the grade. So many times I'll say to women, how are you qualified to do what you do? Oh, I have a good foundation. I said, that's why it's not working. It's the footers. The footers is what distributes the weight that holds up a building. Well, it is your footers, which are the things that happen to you in life before you could think, that's either going to hold you up or have you sink. So you can have all the foundation you want, but are your footers good? In my line of work, we talk about when you build a house, there's live load and dead load. So many women got more dead load, they can't be alive.
Stephanie, you were talking about Dr. Lee's question regarding grief. I'm really interested in how do you handle financial adversity in the contracting business? You're going to get people sometimes that will do you wrong, they'll walk out in a job, they'll take the money and run. How do you handle things like that and still stay on your feet and stay positive?
You have to be a smart businesswoman and business person. You learn as you go, but with me, it all starts with a good lawyer and a good contract. And you must tweak the contract as you go. If you have a contract that you had 2 years ago, do not think that contract is still good. It's just like when the pandemic came. Nobody ever had a pandemic before. There were so many contractors that people said, oh, it's a pandemic, I'm not paying you the difference. Now there's clauses for that. I had a friend that had a situation where a husband and wife, she was working on a very big project. The husband died and the woman said, well, my husband's dead. Now I have clauses in there that state that if either party passes, that gets attached to their estate. I tell people I have done music, I've done construction, different things, but I'm a businesswoman first. And that's what a lot of women have to realize. You can't lead with your heart. You know, that's why when men say to me, oh, baby doll, oh, you don't understand, sweetie. Conversation's over. You're not going to call John sweetie. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to first have respect. But when it comes to finances, we as women cannot get caught up in hobbies. If you're not protecting your money, you're a hobbyist. Because if you have a business, you want to make a good living, an honest living, but it comes down to money.
Stephanie, if you hired someone though, and they didn't do an excellent job for you, what would you do?
If I saw that they had the right mindset, I would train them. Everybody doesn't come with all the skill sets. It might have been a person who down on their luck. I have a young lady that works for me. She didn't have any skill set. As a matter of fact, she started off cleaning our houses. And I noticed that she would give us a list and say, oh, these are the things that the guy missed. Now, I never asked her to do that. And I saw something in her. Well, it was maybe 2 years after. And I asked her, would you like to learn more and be a project manager? And she said to me, I need to tell you, I spent 4 years in federal prison. And I said, as I asked you again, would you like to be a project manager? She said, does it matter? I said, no, you didn't have to tell me you were in prison. You have good character. And you're a person that wants to learn. That young lady has been with me 12 years.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, let's see, we need to hear from Peron, Dr. Wetzel now. And let's see if he has any questions. Did he come back?
I'm here, Dr. Lee, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, the conversation's been very, very interesting tonight. So I want you to jump in and with your thoughts.
So I would listen to you, Stephanie, and one of the things that piqued my interest was you were saying that you're in a space that's very dangerous for type of work that you do in being a light contractor. I wanted you to expand on that. Why is it like a dangerous situation for you in regard to people who don't think you're capable of doing it, financing or finding the right people to work with you?
Do you want honesty?
Yes, that's honesty.
Like I said, I'm not from the South. I get most of my problems from Southern men, and I'm just going to be honest. I had a guy that worked for me, a Jamaican guy from New York, and he's the one that said, these men don't listen to you at all. And it was interesting. I've talked to other women, and they have done things like tried to sabotage me, knowing when a certain paperwork was due. I've had men jump in my face. I've had men ask me questions, I give them the answer, and they will go to someone else. So you have to really fight for your respect. You have, in Georgia, no one needed a license until 2006. There are some men that will resent a woman, especially a Black female. They really, like in Georgia, if you were to meet 10 general contractors, I guarantee you 3 of them carry a blue card. There's a lot of people still running around saying that they're general contractors. They are not licensed by the Secretary of State. So just because someone tells you they have a license, all you have to do is go on the Secretary of State's website, put their name in, okay? But a lot of men don't like the fact that, first of all, I'm a different type of contractor. Back in the day, you started with a hammer and a nail and you worked your way up. Now you have to have a 4-year degree. I got in through the grandfather and sitting for the test. Now you have to have a 4-year degree in general contracting because so many people, all of you know people who've given their money to someone and the work was horrible. Up north, they have unions, so you don't have to worry about that. But down here, you don't have unions. So I have to fight for everything that I get. I have to fight because they don't think I belong.
You answered that question quite well, so thank you very much.
Okay.
So another thing that I would like to ask you in regards to, tell me in regards to how have you structured your entities? Because a lot of people I've realized that they don't quite understand how taxes work and what type of entity is structured for them. Because I'm a believer in that you should pay your fair share, whatever you believe your fair share is. If you believe it's zero, I can help you pay zero. Or you believe you're supposed to pay a lot of taxes, I can help you do that. And most people are going to be somewhere in between.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm set up as a subchapter S corporation, so it runs straight through. It's interesting because I find a lot of people, and mostly our people, the first thing they say, I got an LLC, I got a C Corp, I have this. I said, well, I don't think you have a good accountant or somebody misled you. Because if you're an individual, you should always have an S Corp to get the best tax advantage. You know what I'm saying? Because your company at the end, you're